Hello, and welcome back to Random Talks with the Rat. I'm the Rat, and so we're going to be talking about today weird things that I do that are just, okay, so before we start, I think that everybody I'm not trying to offend anybody who's actually diagnosed with this or anything. I'm just stating my opinion. But I think that everybody has a little bit of different disorders, not fully, just a little bit. Everybody has a little bit of OCD of things that they do, and it can't be done differently. And then everybody has little things of anxiety and there's always the ADHD. Just everybody has a little tiny bit of each thing, except some people have it worse and it can really affect them. But I have anxiety, and I am going to take my diagnosed anxiety and make it into a joke that we could all laugh about. So this podcast is basically going to be me explaining some weird things that I do and making fun of myself and making you guys laugh. So yeah, all right. I hope you guys enjoy.
Arachnophobia is the actual diagnosis of an unreasonable fear of spiders.
Alright, so before we move into my issues, I am just going to embarrass my family because there are just so many issues. I just have so many issues that it would take me years and years and years to tell you all of them. So I'm just going to embarrass my family instead, and then I'll tell you some of my issues so that I don't look like I'm crazy, because I'm not, right? Alright, so anyways, my younger sister, she was featured in one of my podcasts where I did interviews with my sisters and my boyfriend. So one of my sisters, she's the youngest sibling, she is absolutely petrified of spiders. Petrified. Okay, so a lot of people are scared of spiders. I don't like spiders myself. But if I really, really, really have to, I'll take a paper towel and I'll squish it and I'll throw it in the toilet and flush it, and yeah. They only live 3 days anyway, so don't hate me if I say that I flushed it, because I don't care. So my little sister is absolutely petrified of spiders, to the point where, here's a story. We were in the car one day, and we were literally just driving on the highway, whole family in the car. And then all of a sudden, we hear just a loud ass scream, a high pitched scream. We're literally, I'm telling you, we were literally just sitting in the car on the highway. Everybody, people on their phones listening to country music, because if you don't listen to country music in the car, who even are you? So we were just kind of driving, and then all of a sudden we hear a high-pitched scream, and everybody's like, oh my god, to the point where my mom's fiance actually almost stopped the car. It was actually, he thought that I don't even know. And then we all turned around, and she's literally crying, sobbing in the back seat. And she says that there's a spider. And so my stepsister was in the back seat with her. So she looked over and saw that there was literally the smallest spider I've ever seen in my entire life. So it was probably the size of a freckle. And she was freaking freaking out. And so that wasn't the only time that she did that. She's done that multiple times. If you have a family member or someone that is petrified of spiders, they're not alone. We do make fun of her for it, but it's all right.
Hi, my name's
Brother.
I'm
1
years old, and I'm addicted to
pacifiers. Now it is time to embarrass my other sibling. Well, actually, sibling 2 out of 3. No, sorry. Sibling 2 out of 4. If you're one of the siblings listening to this and you think that this is the last one, you're not free. Just keep listening. Anyways, so the next sibling is my brother, my only brother. And this wasn't recent. This was more of a thing when he was a baby. But when he was a baby, he was obsessed with pacifiers. Actually, there's a big debate that people were talking about, like whether pacifiers are pacifiers, binkies, num-nums, I don't know. But I've always called them pacifiers, not binkies, not any of that random stuff. It's pacifiers. That's it. Final. Done. Boom. So my brother had a major addiction to pacifiers. And what I mean by this is that he would not only have one in his mouth, but he would also always have one in his left hand, one in his right hand. No. He would have one in his left hand, his finger in his, not in his butthole. He would have his finger in his belly button, and then he would have one or two just laying on him. So he had at least like 4 or 5 with him at all times. So that's just a weird thing that he did. But another weird thing that he did was that he had a addiction to sprinkles too. So my family buys like these big things of sprinkles, and he liked to get into them and just pour them all over himself. So my mom loved that, cleaning up the sprinkles off the floor all the time. Super fun. They looked like ants because they were chocolate sprinkles, because of course he did the chocolate sprinkles. So like my mom would walk into the kitchen and be like, "Oh my God, there's ants," and then she'd be like, "Oh wait, it's chocolate sprinkles," and then she'd look in the living room and see my brother with chocolate sprinkles all over his face and his hands. So that's what you get when you have a baby boy. All right. Now, my next victim. This is actually my stepsister. Well, soon to be stepsister, but basically because my mom and her boyfriend are getting married in April. So, woohoo, congrats, yay! Anyways, so my soon to be stepsister, she is in middle school now. She's in 7th grade. So is my brother. They actually look alike. They're obviously not twins because they're step siblings, but they actually could look like they could be. She looks like she could be part of the family. Anyways, so she is now in middle school, like I said before, and this is the time where teenagers or preteens, whatever you want to call it, I don't really care, start to wake up at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So her thing is that she will wake up at like 2 p.m. Okay, so first, she's only with us like at our house for the weekend. Because so my family, my siblings, we go every other week for each parent. So we're with each parent the same amount. And she does it where she goes every other weekend and every Monday, Tuesday. It's either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. It always changes, so I'm just going to say every weekend, every other weekend, and one day during the week. So as of like that, we already don't see her as much as like we see our siblings. Obviously, we're always with our siblings, but we don't see her as much because she goes to her mom's house majority of the time. So honestly, it's literally as if she doesn't even live with us anymore because she is in her teen stages where she awakes. I mean, I'm still a teenager. I'm not like saying, and okay, whatever. Okay, so she'll wake up at like 2 p.m. and then she'll go downstairs, like hair messy, pajamas, no bra, just go downstairs, make herself some food while she's watching Grey's Anatomy on her phone, and then go right back upstairs for the night. So she's basically a hibernation. She's basically a hibernating bear that can talk. Yeah, well, we all go through that phase, but I know that everybody listening to this has either gone through that phase or has somebody they know that is going through that phase. So, good luck.
This is the way we put on our t-shirt, put on our t-shirt, put on our t-shirt.
This is the way we put on our t-shirt. We get dressed every day.
I am now on to my final sibling. She is older than me, which means that I am most likely to be yelled at by her after she listens to this. But it's okay. Something that she does, which like I actually have done and do, and but like she does it more than me. I don't know. Well, so something that she does is that when she gets dressed, she has to get dressed in front of the mirror. I don't know if she just like doesn't know how to put on her clothes, or I don't know, but like literally every time she gets dressed, she has to put on her clothes in the mirror, like in the mirror. She jumps up in the mirror and she puts on her clothes. No, she has to get dressed in front of the mirror. I mean, I do that too, so I can't really be making fun of her for that, but I thought that other people could relate to that. So if you get dressed in front of the mirror too, let me know so that I know that I'm not crazy and my sister's not crazy either. Yeah, now we are finally on to me and my thousands and thousands of problems that I could literally sit here and talk about forever. Actually, my mom sent me a joke on Messenger on Facebook the other day. And it was like a joke about like social distancing or whatever. And it was like, what was it? It said like, oh, Governor Murphy just came out and said that we could have 20 people in the house with no problems. Yeah. And the person replied and they said, well, I don't know 20 people with no problems. Let that sink in for a second. Okay. Anyways, so everybody has problems. Me too. I can 100% vouch for that. But now that I've embarrassed all of my siblings, I'm going to tell you some things that I do that are a little out of the ordinary and will probably make you laugh. One thing that I do is that when I walk into the bathroom, so at my dad's house, I have a shower with glass sliding doors, so obviously I can see into the shower. But when I walk into a bathroom and it has like a curtain bath or like a curtain shower or whatever, I have to look behind the curtain to make sure nobody's standing in the bathtub. For why somebody would be standing in the bathtub, no clue. But I have to look behind the curtain to see if somebody's standing in the bathtub before I'm able to go to the bathroom. And if I don't, I literally can't go to the bathroom. Like, I have to check. So yeah. And then another thing that I do is that when I'm in a room, I have to double check things. So when I go into a room and I lock a door, I have to check to make sure it's locked. So like I can't tell somebody, okay, can you lock that door, and just trust them. Like I literally have to, if I have somebody else lock the door, I have to literally get up myself and check to make sure it's locked. And then same thing for like a car. When I get out of the car, I have to double click the lock button and hear like the beeps that I know for a fact that the car is locked. Because even like my dad yells at me for this, because I'll drive up the driveway and I'll hit it twice and it'll beep and it'll be like, dude, it's like 11 o'clock at night and there's a baby next door sleeping. I'm like, I have to hit it. Because then what if my car doesn't turn on? What if car turning on and that doesn't really have anything to do with each other, but I just have to do it. I have to do it. So there's that. And then I kind of grew out of this, but something else I used to do, well, those things I still do, but something I used to do was that I used to think that I was like a puppet, whatever those puppets are called, where like the person, when it's on strings and like somebody's like bouncing them up and down, whatever. I like basically said that like there was like a string coming out of the top of my head, and if I turned, let's say I like turned to the right to look at the wall, then I would have to turn left to turn back and like unravel myself. Or if I went to sit down and I got up to pick something up, I have to go exactly those steps backwards to sit down so that I don't get tangled up. Or if this is one, I'm in a acting program, so I would be in like dance class or whatever, and we would do like a right spin, and I would have to like turn, like do a spin to the right, and then without people noticing, people probably noticed, I mean, it's not that hard to like notice this, but I would have to turn to the left at some point to unravel myself. So it's weird. I kind of grew out of it because I just did. I don't know. It's just some people grow out of things like that. But that is something that I did. And then also something that, okay, I used to do this a lot more when I was younger, but sometimes it comes back to me now. But I used to, when I was in the car, I would look out the window, and I already, every time I go in the car, I look out the window. I just stare out the window. But when I was younger, I used to look out the window, and I would basically like tap like my foot, or like literally like chomp my teeth, or blink the, like every time we would like pass a light pole or a certain tree or a certain amount of trees or whatever. Like I would also like count the electricity poles or whatever. So every time we would pass them, I would count it. And then if I like forgot, then I'd be like, oh my God, I have to restart. And then I keep counting, and then it would just be like a long thing. And I'd be like, oh my God, why am I doing this? But then I couldn't stop. So there's that. I kind of grew out of that. Also, I'm like driving myself anyway. So like, it's not like can like look out the window and like count light poles, because then I'd probably end up crashing into a light pole, and then the only thing I'll count is one, because my car won't be moving anymore. So yeah. Oh, I actually have one more thing that I just remembered. I just looked at my water bottle, so it reminded me. But when I drink my water, I have to drink it in counts of 4. So it's really weird. So like if there's a straw, or if I have a straw, then it's like the amount of sips I take. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I have like a regular water bottle, then it's the amount of gulps I take. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I take an extra one, so like I'll take 4, and then if I'm like, oh, I'm still thirsty, then I can't just take 1 more. I have to take 4 more. So then I have to take 8 sips. And yeah. So that's, yeah, it's weird, but it's me, so I accept it, and you're weird too. It's really, everybody's weird. Nobody's normal. If you think you're cool, you're not. I mean, you could be, but you're cool in a weird way, basically. That's what I'm saying. All right. All right, so that was some of the awkward slash quirky things that me and some people, my siblings and whatever in my family do. I'm pretty sure a lot of people could probably relate to them. And if you have any quirky or weird things that you do that I didn't mention, feel free to write it in the comments down below, and we can have a good laugh together. I really hope you guys had an amazing President's Day weekend, and I'll see you next week. Peace out.